This is Moscow! Cheers. We're going to do a couple now, it's only what we're going to do. Vicious. Thanks. Right, this is the last one. You don't know it. You don't know it. I think it's called Someone's Gonna Die. called Walk Away. Hearing what we're supposed to play. We'll do one that we should know. It's called Bleed. We're going to call this one. Those days, they're gone. cheering. Why? Right, the certain songs coming up, certain songs don't have time to be rehearsed, right? We get time to come back again. If you want us to. That's what it is.
Very lively. It says on your T-shirt, Blitz, voice of a generation. What's the voice saying?
What's the voice saying, Carl? I don't know.
Well, I mean, and that the song...
What do you think it's saying?
I have no idea, pal. First day I've met you.
Have you listened to the album?
I've never heard the album. The song you've just played is New Age, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's all this sort of... What is it, a facade that you're trying to... You've got something for the kids, some sort of answer? Is that just a facade in that you're making money out of it, or have you got an answer?
No.
No, we ain't got an answer, but nobody else has who pretends that they have.
So why Voice of a Generation? I mean, it sounds great, but what's behind it? What's the
It is the voice of a generation, isn't it? Like, in all the papers you had, I mean, that's just a middle-class paper, that ain't the voice of a generation. It's the voice of a few art students pissing about. That's not really the voice of a generation.
So the voice is saying nothing, yeah, okay, fair enough. What about the fact, are you happy about the fact that your prospect every night, or when you're playing, is that you're playing to a lot of bobbing, spiky heads, the same old crowd, the same thing? I mean,
you know we play to them.
Have you been to a Blitz gig?
You told me I'm going to one.
When? I haven't just told you, have you?
You certainly have, pal.
When?
So is it... I mean, you're playing to a punk audience, right?
Yeah.
You're playing to rafters.
What's the punk audience?
No, what's punk?
At the end of the day, the music's the same as it was in 1977. All the arguments that are made against heavy metal could be attributed to this, right or wrong. You're stuck in a rut, right?
Well, it could be attributed to the Pale Fountains and to Cabaret Voltaire.
We're not stuck in a rut because we're making a living out of it. That's not in a rut, is it?
Well, you must be. I mean, musically, it's the same old thing. Well, when the audience has been to a Blitz gig, right, and they're all fueled up, what's their head full of? Nothing, or has it got some new thought in it?
Well, I've got a shipwright full of nothing and beer. Yeah.
So, and you think that is the essence of life,
I think
right?
that's shit. I think that's depressing. Yeah. And that's what we want to change.
So
the band should be given a chance to develop, right? So, Voice of a Generation.
So how long's it been going?
It was the Voice of a Generation. That's a statement that was released earlier this year. I want to go on from there. We need the chance to go on from there.
Fighting the corruption on which you are bad. Tell me one thing. Tell me this is bad.
But if you go up your own arse and go all arty-farty like the people that are getting into the African and the Asian rhythms, right, and saying it's new, and it's not new, it's crap.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yeah, that's your opinion.
I'm not saying what you're doing is bad.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying that are you happy to be stuck in a rut? Say you're not stuck in a rut.
We're not stuck in a rut, no.
Changing.
So what are you going to be doing next year? You were doing this last year.
We weren't
so
doing this last year.
You say this sound is different now.
This is different from... You've not... Difficult talking to you about it because you haven't listened to the album.
It's difficult for me because that would have stuck in 1977 bang on. You could have been there at the Vortex.
Well, look at some of the attitudes they get in modern music today, though. They're not saying anything. You're trying to say that our album's invalid, right? But it is a voice of generation. If you just look what it's about threat of nuclear war, right? All that, about being unemployed. Right, it might not be trendy to go on about it anymore, which it isn't, right? By all these newspapers, right? They're not giving that angle at all. They're all just decadent, aren't they? Like Berlin before the war. And look what happened to that.
Yeah, but all this is, I mean, it's...
Have you got any alternatives?
Well, I've got one alternative, yeah. For the start off, by being what I consider and many other people stuck in a rut. As much as the music's all right, you're stuck in a rut. It's like an ostrich with his head in the sand. I mean, so what you're saying, all this is entertainment. You're not providing any answers.
No, what we're saying is there's no answers to be found.
It's out of my hands to provide answers, isn't it?
Pardon?
It's out of my hands to provide answers.
So whose is it? Politicians? Do you think they've got the answers?
They're the questions.
Exactly, they haven't.
Isn't it? It's the questions.
Yeah, but you're not making it. I couldn't even tell what you're saying. So, I mean, that's an old thing that when everybody used to say that to Joe Strummer, he'd say, well, it don't matter. But it does matter now. I want to know what you're saying.
Well, now it doesn't matter. Now, it's really hip to be fashionably decadent.
I'm bothered about the music from the point of view. If there's anything of any meaning behind it, you say it's not. One minute you're saying to me, no, 1 minute you're saying to me that it's entertainment, then the next minute you say there's something behind it, and apparently you can't say what.
It's like, the trouble with all this is that what comes across is one facet, right? Like a diamond. Just what you just get one plane. But there's loads of different planes.
Okay.
Right? Is that fair enough?
That's fair. So if
so
things
what
go...
I'm saying is we only get the chance to come across with this single, playing one thing. That's part of a great big thing, which is what the Blitz is about. And if you start pissing about with all this superficial decadent crap, which is hip at the moment, and you put like really shitty playing in it.
You're bringing that in, or I'm not bringing that.
And then you put a message on the top, the only people that are going to listen to you are the people that already agree with you anyway.
It wasn't really that much of an impact here then. What it was over here was that the things like the Cars, Joe Jackson and stuff were really what started the whole quote-unquote new wave in America. And it's not really until now that the Pistols are really starting to make an impact on the kids around, you know, with the whole punk idea. And through the Pistols, they're listening to things like the Dead Kennedys, Black Flag. A lot of the LA bands are starting to make a big, like at my store, besides the things like the Flock of Seagulls, the Ants, Duran Duran, the Spandau, and the whole thing. The big thing right now is the hardcore. Dead Kennedys, Black Flag. As soon as I get the shipment in, they're flying out the door. And with the hardcore people, it's just ripped up clothes, ripped up shirts, and, you know, just put on a Black Flag album, have a couple of beers, and bang your head, you know?
If they don't have a name for it, they call it new wave or punk if it sounds shitty. As a club manager, when I open a club and I have a band, and I start seeing people come through the door with all kinds of things through their cheeks and spiked hair, and I start to worry because these people really, a lot of times, act absurd. I think that's probably, what's in. They act absurd, and they're a real hassle for management. They run into walls and they fall on the floor and stuff, and it's just a hassle. I mean, you're the lawsuits you could have if these people felt anything, but their nervous systems are like, on the same level as some type of liver fluke. You get dressed up like Rod Stewart, dye your hair, stick a sock in your pants, and you rock and roll.
And here I remember walking up the fast lane one time, I think the Ramones were playing, I see a kid come sailing out the door onto the street. He was in the club, he just whipped it out and peed on somebody's leg. And the one time someone taps Eric on the shoulder, he turns around, they whack him in the face with a blackjack.
Well, that's happening, man. That's happening.
That was part of it,
man, that's happening.
Eric loved that.
I love it.
That made him, real fond of new wave music.
That makes me love punkers, man. I love that. You never know when you're going to get stuck or beat. When it comes to the bar business, I'd rather have rednecks because they drink good bourbon, they pay a lot of money, and new wavers come in and ask you, can I have a cup of water, please?
Eric may not like it, but punk, especially the hardcore variety, does seem to be rearing its ugly head in parts of America. But it is very much a minority interest, as I realized when I went down to my old high school.
Punks? You mean like punk rockers?
Yeah.
Punk rockers? I don't like them, really. No, I like more of the rock and roll.
In fact, I found that punk is such a non-starter amongst the kids at the high school that these kids have an annual fancy dress punk day. I asked them if there were any punk groups they do like.
American kids that are into punk aren't necessarily 24-hour punk rockers. The thing is that people in America want to party and dress up to fit the occasion.
If we went to England, we'd probably look funny over there.
Got it.
Yeah.
They laugh at us. So.
The way we're dressed right now, do we look funny to kids?
You look more conservative than people.
Yeah, that's what we are.
It's slowly but surely, I think it's going to flow over here. Like I said, we're a little bit behind, but what can you do? There's not that much in America to rave about to start our own thing.
And yet, how ironic that American musicians like Iggy Pop, Lou Reed, Patti Smith, Debbie Harry, and the Ramones were such an essential part of the early growth of punk in this country. On the subject of punk in Britain and people with nervous systems like liver flukes, we now go to Steve for a chat with sounds journalist Gary Bushell.
Thanks very much, mate. From time to time, the musical press seems to create whole new batches of musical categories which seemingly exist to puzzle and bemuse their readers, setting up a whole new series of alternatives to identify with, or not, as the case may be. Well, one of the newest to emerge is new wave punk, although personally I didn't really know it'd been a way. So here to suffer the slings and arrows and all that stuff is Mr. Gary Bushell, features editor of Sounds, and two members of the Manchester band Blitz, who I'm told are the forerunners of the movement. Well, firstly, Gary, new wave punk, where did it come from? Was it your front room or somewhere, or where?
No, I mean, everyone's saying about the music press creating trends, but I think for the last 3 years, the music press has tried to destroy what punk was. They tried to say it had gone. In fact, it hadn't gone. I mean, lots of bands all over the country were keeping it alive, like the UK Subs, the Angelic Upstarts, Cockney Rejects. And now the actual pressure's built up from the grassroots so much that people can't ignore what's happening.
Right, I mean, how do you justify the supposed political involvement? I mean, I'm quoting you here, I have a quote right in front of me, which says, the gutter press which indulges in scummy miscoverage. I mean, how can you justify the political involvement if that's happening?
Well, there is, I mean, it is political with a small p, because, I mean, you're talking about a whole generation of people where a quarter of the population live under the poverty line. You're talking about millions of people on the dole, and the people who form punk bands now tend to be those sort of people. So obviously they're against the establishment, obviously they're against unemployment, so that's the political element of it, yeah.
Sure, okay, but taking it as the, let's take it as the old wave of '77 almost, I don't know if you'd agree with that, but politically then, musically, how does this new wave differ from that? Is it all that different?
Musically, not all, I mean, it tends to be a lot harder, a lot faster, but actual socially, it's actually, this new wave now is what the first wave pretended to be. I mean, the first wave was all art students pretending to be off the dole, and now this wave is people off the dole, not pretending at all, but telling the truth.
Right, I got you, okay. If I may quote again, I've got some categories here, within the whole category of what we're talking about. Street socialist punk, anti-political Herberts, which is a great one, a skunk rock, oi, new punk, Nazi skinned Redskins. Now, and the Blitz have been described as the nabobs of yob rock, which is a wonderful phrase. Could one of you please describe your way?
No, that's his idea.
Is that
we don't know what it means.
This is one of Mr. Bush's phrase, right?
Yeah, yob rock, but I don't know what nabob. So.
Okay, nabob, I believe. I mean, what category are you guys in?
Just a punk band, really.
So, I mean, how do you regard the new wave of punk? Do you regard yourself as part of this?
Yeah, of course I do, yeah.
So, and how does that align with the old wave of '77? How are you different?
A lot were working class, they were all middle class.
That was all sort of big fashion thing then.
Right.
The fashion element's sort of gone out of it now, and it's more to do with music. It's more what it should have been.
Okay, I mean, out of that '77 wave, you had the Blondie and the Stranglers, maybe, who later went on to become, let's face it, top of the popsters. I mean, what's to prevent Blitz not doing that? What's going to stop you?
We
Are you
will
going to
do.
stop it?
Yeah, no.
You want to
do top of pops? Yeah, of course we do.
You would?
Nothing against doing it.
That's not against your morals, your principles or whatever?
All them bands in '77, they said they didn't want to be rich.
Right.
And the next minute they were going around in limousines. Right?
Sure.
Well, anybody who says they don't want to be rich is either a liar or a bleeding idiot.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? I do want to be sodding rich. We'll go on top at pops.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. Right, gents, thanks very much. I'm sure this could go on for hours. Many thanks indeed. And over to you.